The period between 1960 and 1980 is largely considered as Kenya's golden era. During this period, the government unveiled ambitious projects to turn around the Kenyan economy. One of the projects mooted then was the construction of a deep water port along the Kenyan coastline to support the Mombasa port, which was starting to feel pressure of rising business volumes. In 1976, the then Minister in charge of Power and Communications, Isaac Okello, presented a concept note to the cabinet that proposed construction of the port of Lamu to help in opening up the coast region. Juma Ahmed, known by locals as Doctor, remembers well when in the late 1970s they were hired by the government to work on the project.
Pia wakati tulipokwenda kutafuta gas ama petroli, serikali kwanza na wale wenye kuja kufanya ile kazi kwanza ilitafuta wananchi. Ndio na sisi tukaweza kuwa mahala kama ha.
3 years later, and after spending a lot of time along the Lamu coastline, the project was abandoned in what Mzee Juma says was due to political reasons. For many decades, the proposal just remained on paper until the year 2004 when former President Mwai Kibaki, who was the economic and planning minister when the Lamu project was initiated, formed a team to revive the port plan.
It took actually precisely 30 years for the matter to be rekindled once more. And it was until the year 2003, 2004, when the government of Kenya at that time was spearheading the drafting of the integrated national transport policy. In the process of drafting the policy, the government realized that there was a need to integrate the national economy using infrastructure.
A plan was floated to set up an agency to spearhead the project. The Lapset Authority was set up with Sylvester Kasuku appointed to head the parastatal. In 2011, a consortium of companies won the bid for the construction of the first 3 berths at Lamu Port at a cost of 42 billion shillings. So far, construction activities for various facilities at the Lamu Port site are ongoing, with progress for Lamu Port building and port police, as well as security facilities now 95% complete.
There's a program by government to now how to make Lamu viable. They thought that the way to make Lamu Port viable is to make it as a corridor to the greater East African. That is, we join Ethiopia, we join South Sudan, okay, to make the greater East African.
This is the time to do it, and to do it right, and to push it forward. And because in doing that, we will never look back again. Because this is indeed, I would call it, it is the insurance of Kenya's future, the insurance of Kenya's future generations.
In less than a week's time, President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to lead other regional heads of state and investors in launching construction of the first 3 berths. But what is the likely socio and economic impact of this project?
Lamu could not have come into the project phase at any other better time. This is indeed the time that Lamu has to really be realized as a project. Because as we race for Africa to become the next growth frontier, it is countries that will put in place the correct and the appropriate and the efficient infrastructure that will attract more investors into their platforms.
Kasuku says the contractor is expected to hand over the project in 5 years' time. Well, I'm holding in my hand a very critical document, and this is the Lapset Corridor and New Lamu Port Feasibility Study and Master Plans Report. This feasibility study was conducted by Japan Port Consultant. Now, without this report, you can as well forget about the Lapset project. Tomorrow, we highlight the controversies that the project has faced, with conservationists raising fears that Lamu as a heritage site is at risk, courtesy of the project. Obrien Kimani for Project Lapset.